the great Reverend Marshall Hatch Sr., and Brother Michael Flager, of course, my dear brother Flager, was all together. Tribute to Brother Dwight McKee at Push. He's one of the co-founders of Jesse Jackson's Push.
Yeah,
He's actually very close to Jesse Jackson as well as Brother Al Sharpton. Brother Al Sharpton reached out yesterday. I got a chance to connect with him. We'll be there at the funeral, you know.
Yeah. No, I'm
it's
glad.
One of those things, brother. One of those things, man.
No, as you say all the time, every one of us has to do that dance with mortality. None of us gets out of here alive.
Ooh.
We all got to do that dance with mortality. And it is tragic news out of Chicago that Dwight McKee did, in fact, make his transition yesterday. Doc mentioned that we were in Chicago together. Doc and I were last summer during the Democratic Convention. And he was in rehab then and has made his transition. His name may not resonate with you, but when we come forward here, I'll let Doc unpack a bit more about the role he's played with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. So when you see these leaders out front, indeed great orators like Jesse Jackson and others, when you see them on the front line, there are always people behind them who are consulting them, who are advising them. And Dwight McKee and Jesse Jackson would tell you this himself. Al Sharpton would tell you this himself. That Dwight McKee has played an outsized role in their thinking, in their development, in their public posture. And I take nothing away from Al or Jesse, but Dwight McKee is one of those powers behind the throne, one of those brilliant thinkers, and part of what you hear. A great deal of what you hear from Jesse or Al is in part shaped and formed in their conversations over the years with the brilliant Dwight McKee. And that's why Doc is feeling it today. He and Dwight were very close. And so there are many people in Chicago right now who are feeling the pain of the passing yesterday of Dwight McKee. It's been a tough week. As Doc said, you got Dwight on the one hand, D'Angelo on the other hand. Tough week for those of us who have known these brothers in our work and in our witness. More with Cornel West when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Stood there on the journey. Yes, I
did. Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
Now 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. We've all had that epic rideshare experience. Halfway through the trip, you know their heartbreak, their career path, and they know your aspirations to go find yourself in Portugal. It's human. We're all looking for connection, for someone to listen. But sometimes the people we spill our hearts to aren't exactly equipped to help us through it. With over a decade of data-backed experience from helping millions of people, BetterHelp matches you with a therapist based on your needs and goals. No asking for recommendations or endless scrolling through listings. Simply answer a few questions online and you'll be matched with a therapist, often in as little as 48 hours. Join over 5 million people worldwide who've trusted BetterHelp for their mental health and well-being. Get a therapist who gets you. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABC Radio to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/ABC Radio.
More honesty than you can handle.
More empowerment than you can imagine.
You're tuned into Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Cornel West. I know that Doc is feeling this because I've known, obviously, Doc and I've been together 40 years. And I've known his relationship with Dwight, and I've had my own relationship with Dwight over the years, but he and Doc were very, very close. But I raise this name because there are always these unsung heroes, unsung heroines in our community, Doc. And just say a quick word more here about Dwight.
Right.
A quick word about Dwight before we move forward here. But I tried to frame it in a way that would not be disrespectful of Al or Jesse. But again, so many of these public personalities are in constant conversation with others who help formulate their thinking. Say a word about Dwight McKee in that regard.
Brother, I love the way you put that, because there's always a collective story behind the individual glory of various leaders and spokespersons. And Jesse would be the first to say. Al would be the first to say. Walter Hawkins would be the first to say. The Hutchinson sisters of emotions be the first to say. Friendship Baptist Church, where Dwight McKee comes from with his blessed mother, Reverend Louise McKee, that he was an integral part of the collectivities that rest behind the individuals who surface in a variety of different ways. That's true even for Maurice White and Randy Lewis, all of them, Chicago folk. And so Dwight, and you recall though, man, he has a humility and a tenacity of spirit, both in his life and now in our life. We should try to enact part of his afterlife. Now he's going on home, but part of his afterlife is at work in our own lives with that same humility, that same tenacity, that same powerful intellect, that same loving spirit, that same sacrificial morality that he always had. He chose the way of helpfulness. And it doesn't get any better than that, brother. We all have a call for help, and we want to be as helpful to others, even as we call for help.
That's it.
And that's his brother Dwight McKee. Reminds me really of James Washington. Brother James Melvin Washington.
Yes.
Lord, you don't get deeper than that, brother.
Yeah.
But he was the closest one of that older generation for me to meet that kind of high criteria of the best of humanity, the best of black folk. And the best of humanity and the best of black folk is always what? Love, courage, service to others, especially the least of these, and then with style and a smile. That's Brother Dwight McKee, and he knew we were living in the fascist society. He knew that when you talk about death, you had to always connect it with rebirth. You always have to connect it with a resistance grounded in a remembrance, mediated with a reverence for something bigger than ourselves, as part of movements, as part of collective efforts to make the world just a little bit better than we found it.
Yeah. You said two things now I want to get you to lay in on a little bit harder. I start with this notion that you have just framed for us of Dwight at least choosing the way of helpfulness. Choosing the way of helpfulness. There are two words in that sentence that jump out for me, obviously, that it was a choice, number one.
That's right.
And the notion of helpfulness in and of itself. Talk to me, broadly speaking, talk to all of us about what it means to choose the way of helpfulness in our lives?
Well, Dwight, very much like myself, very much like yourself, was shaped and molded by the best of the Black church, by the best of prophetic Christianity. And prophetic Christianity always begins with that acknowledgement of the call for help. I lift mine eyes into the hills from which cometh
my help. My help cometh.
My help cometh
from the Lord.
From the Lord.
That's it, Doc.
And when you receive that help, you then choose to help others. So Dwight was a follower of Jesus of Nazareth, a Palestinian Jew of swarthy complexion called Jesus. And when Jesus said, love God and love your neighbor, what was he saying? He said, be a neighbor to others, especially the least of these, especially the brown immigrants, especially the Palestinians in Gaza, especially Jews in France, especially Black people in South Central, especially poor white people in Kentucky, especially those who have been marginalized and those who have been degraded. Be a neighbor, be of help. I've given you help to be of help to others. Choose that way of helpfulness. That's what the love is all about. That's the love of Martin King. That's the love of Fannie Lou Hamer. That's the love of Dwight McKee. That's the love of Tavis Smiley. Connected to Joyce Smiley. That's the love I've tried to enact in my fallible life, tied to Irene B. West and Clifton West, and now, of course, wonderfully connected to Anna Heath and Darby West. Yeah. And we ain't got the Clifton and Cynthia and Cheryl. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing,
Mark Ridley Thomas, part of that same cloud of witnesses. Choose the way of helpfulness, and there's always a cross sitting there waiting for you. But that's another set of reflections, brother.
It is another set, but it connects because no cross, no crown, right? No cross, no crown. Ooh, so those things are deeply, and the closer, as you and I have discussed many times in our private dialogues, and the more you love Negroes, the closer you are to being put up on the cross. It's just that's just the reality, man. The more you love Black people, the more you express that publicly, the heavier your cross gets. And the more likely you are to be crucified yourself. So I digress on that. That's another set of reflections for another time.
But it's such a great joy. It's a great joy to love folk and especially love Black people and all of their beauty, majesty, sublimity, and all of their faults and foibles and fears and being scarified, being scared and terrified with the white supremacy bombarding us every day, undergirded with the predatory capitalism trying to keep us poor. But we keep fighting anyway. We keep resisting anyway. That's why we ought to be out there October 18th. That's why we're to be in Washington November the 5th. We just had a magnificent event last night here in New York, though, brother.
Oh, yeah.
93rd Street and Broadway at Advent Lutheran Church packed the place, calling for what? Refuse fascism. Resist fascism. And the people have to hit the streets because so many other institutions and people have capitulated and caved into Trump's fascism.
No question. Now, speaking of dates, Dr. West, for those in Southern California, for those who want to come to Southern California, we are hosting my home station in LA, KBLA Talk 1580, hosting a major event on October 25th. It's called the Left Coast Forum. The Left Coast Forum, and Cornel West is one of the keynote speakers, many great speakers that day. But it's the Left Coast Forum. Go to our website at KBLA 1580 if you want to learn more about it. If you're in Southern California, it's free, but you got to sign up. If you want to come join us in Southern California, come on. It's going to be a grand day of hundreds and hundreds of progressives all gathered together in the community in a moment such as this. It's happening again Saturday, October 25th here in Southern California, the Left Coast Forum. Go to our station, KBLA 1580, for all the details and to sign up for this free event. But everybody who's anybody is going to be there on October 25th, including yours truly and my friend and brother Cornel West. The other thing about Dwight McKee, I want to get to one right quickly here before I move on to one or two other things. We're talking about choosing the way of helpfulness, and you broke that down brilliantly, beautifully, and eloquently, as you always do. The other part about Dwight that always stands out for me, and I think of you and your this notion that you've raised a few times in speeches over the years. As a matter of fact, as I recall, you said on this program a week or two ago that peacocks strut because they can't fly. Peacocks strut because they can't fly. They just strut around showing all their colors, saying, look at me, behold my beauty. And we live in a world where everybody, not everybody, but there's just too many peacocks. Everybody's strutting, saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at my followers, look at my this, look at my that. That we live in a me society. And that was never Dwight. We mentioned earlier that Dwight was comfortable being the voice of reason, being the consigliere to Jesse and to Al and to you and to me and even others. He was okay with that position because, again, he chose the way of helpfulness. But juxtapose the way he showed up in the world with all the peacock strutting that we get in real time in this country and around the globe, for that matter.
Well, that's a powerful point, though, brother. Powerful point. I think part of the problem is we live in a moment of such overwhelming confusion, and people confuse foliage with fruits.
Say that again, Doc. They confuse what now? Say that again.
They confuse foliage with fruit.
Ooh, Lord.
You see, the peacock's got foliage. You can see all the colors. It's all superficial. It's all on the surface. But my Bible tells me, by your fruit, you shall know them. And the fruit is in the love, and the love is in the deed and the seed and the recognized need we all have to receive help and or to give help. This is the 59th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party in Oakland. What was that? That was deed. That was to be of help, to protect these precious black folk from the police shooting them down. The 30th anniversary of the Man March. When we hit the country, Mr. Lewis Farrakhan, Ben Chavis, myself, and others, and went from city to city to city, we were saying what? The brothers are in need of help. We want to be of help. We want to bring a coalition from all around the country. Yes, we're going to have the sisters there. Maya Angelou and others, of course, were there. But the brothers needing help psychically, spiritually, politically, economically, and of course, they go hand in hand with the sisters. Of course, they go hand in hand with community as a whole. But there's a whole lot of different ways of being of help. And Sister Connie laid it out with her brilliant self just in the dialogue you all had, right? All the varieties of ways in which you're fighting on the voting rights with our dear lawyers and so on. How do we be of help in our context relative to the gifts and capacities that we have cultivated? Lonnie Guinier, towering figure.
Oh, yeah.
Of help, fighting for voting rights, fighting for making sure black people have representation. And then we need folk on the ground, on the streets. We need poets, we need musicians. But most importantly, we need love warriors who will never give up in their willingness to be of help.
Yeah. No, Dwight McKee, that's the perfect word. He was a love warrior. And I feel you and have felt you all throughout this conversation about the loss of Dwight McKee yesterday in the city of Chicago. I've got 2 minutes left. You already went there. I want to just make the most of these 2 minutes because I'm pushing my way toward a conversation with the young 12-year-old brother Ayinde Jean-Baptiste, who did his thing at the Million Man March 30 years ago. That young brother, we have found him. He's coming up right after Dr. West on this program today. I can't wait to hear him 30 years later. But just give me just your brief reflections on your time at the podium and the spirit of that day 30 years ago today in Washington at the Million Man March.
Well, it was just a magnificent moment to believe that brother is now 42 years old. He was 12 then.
That's right.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Good God. You know, one of my thoughts, you know, I never really got a chance to speak at the Million Man March because they ran out of time. After all of that work we put in, they ran out of time, and I was willing to give my time, but my spirit was there, my heart was there. And we should never forget the efforts of people to be of help to our precious black brothers and making sure that their humanity is affirmed, their creativity is acknowledged.
Yeah. It was quite a day. 30 years ago today. And I think that that day, there are reverberations from that day, even 3 decades later. My last question here with 60 seconds to go is, what is it that we should take from the spirit of that march 30 years ago and apply to the situation, the mess we find ourselves in today, Doc?
Well, I think that one of the fundamental messages of Minister Louis Farrakhan was we got to have black brothers who straighten their backs up. And he would say, like Martin, that any time black brothers straighten their backs up, they're going somewhere because folk can't ride your back if it's bent. Get off the plantation, the psychic plantation, the spiritual plantation. Be free black men who choose the way of help to ensure that they empower and enable others in every possible way, in every possible context. That was one of the fundamental messages. And I think that it had impact. I really do. A lot of people say, well, we don't think it changed things overnight. It was not meant to change things overnight. It was meant for people to change their lives and live in such a way that they could be of help to others.
We thank Dr. Cornel West, as we do every Monday and Thursday, for his deep and brilliant insights. And today we honor the life and the legacy, the work and the witness of Dwight McKee, who passed away yesterday in Chicago. Dr. West, love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you, my brother. Stay strong now.
On the banks of Jordan one day, my Lord.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. On day 16, House Speaker Mike Johnson says ending the government shutdown is up to Democrats.
And so today marks yet another day of American families feeling the very real personal and economic strain of this reckless decision that our Democrat colleagues keep making. They want the United States government to remain closed, and they seem not to care about the pain that it's causing.
Democrats are still pushing for Obamacare subsidy talks. Habitat for Humanity is building its first home in historically Black Altadena's Eaton Fire burn zone. Black couple Kenneth and Carol Wood, both in their 80s, lost their home and are excited to move into their new house. It's one of 25 homes planned, all designed to match the neighborhood's original style. And Michelle Obama will promote her new fashion book, The Look, through a 6-part podcast series with her brother Craig Robinson. IMO, The Look, launches November 5th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hard Rock Style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have been a dominant team in the postseason without getting much offense from superstar Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani has been in a serious slump in the playoffs. In the Dodgers' last 6 playoff games, Ohtani is 2 for 25 at the plate and has struck out 12 times. Ohtani went through an extensive batting practice session on Wednesday. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said he's keeping Ohtani in the leadoff spot in the batting order. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead against Milwaukee in the National League Championship Series. Game 3 is today at 3 o'clock at Dodger Stadium. The Rams have been in Baltimore all week after beating the Ravens on Sunday. They stayed on the East Coast to prepare for Sunday's game in London against Jacksonville. The Rams have been practicing at Camden Yards, the home stadium for Major League Baseball's Baltimore Orioles. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for Black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA, theater as a force for change, voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing, racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Committee for the First Amendment, and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
For 75 years, California Baptist University has helped students live their purpose. Discover who you are and how your story fits into something greater. Start your story at CBU. Visit calbaptist.edu to apply today.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Dr. Cornel West isn't the only person waiting to hear the voice of Ayinde Jean-Baptiste all these years later. You heard Dr. West say a moment ago, I can't believe that brother must be about 42 now, something like that. But we all recall 30 years ago today when as a 12-year-old speaker at the Million Man March, he essentially, to my mind, stole the show. Take a listen.
My grandfathers, my fathers, my brothers, I lift up my voice and raise it high, telling the stories of your children's cries. For our ability to survive the onslaught of the enemy's drugs, guns, and alcohol, his prisons and his killing fields, depends directly on whether you are willing to stand up and resist the outrages that are being heaped upon us as a people and build a new society. Yes, the task is difficult. The odds are against you. But you must organize to find a way or make your own way. You must change today so that tomorrow may dare to be different. And when you have fought back and regained your pride, when you have won some battles, when you are able to tell the stories of your heroism, when you can pass on to your young the tradition of struggle through examples of your having stood up for a better tomorrow, when you take control of our institutions, our media, our schools, when you maximize our economic resources towards our own benefits, when you stop making excuses, when you start standing with our mothers, when you stick it out with your families, when you start mentoring our young, when you start teaching us to be humane, then we can build a new nation of strong people.
Brother Ayinde, I'm honored, sir, 30 years later to have you on this program. How are you, sir?
I'm steady, Tavis. How you doing?
Man, if I complained, I'd be in great. I'm steady too. With all this going on around me, I like that word. I am steady. That's a good word. That's the word of the day. I'm steady. So first of all, thank you for coming on this program. I'm glad we could find you and just thrilled. I'm smiling ear to ear, as you can see me through the radio, just at the sound of your voice all these years later. Let me just start by asking, how are you and how have you been?
I'm well, brother. You know, I'm not hard to find. I'm hard to reach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Listen, man. You know, this D'Angelo thing.
Yeah. I feel you.
No, but I wanna talk through it a little bit. I mean, I think in the last, and I know Dr. West was just talking about another elder who passed.
Yeah.
Because I was listening. And we have these folks who deal with theoretical and practical frameworks for us.
Yeah.
Lay them out in ways that are understood to be political.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Shakurs, like the whole Shakur family, right? Like Asada, the last Matulu before Afeni Pak. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have these things. I know also this week, Miss Major, who was a trans activist who was at Stonewall and then later further politicized by some of the brothers from Attica, and then went on to be a true elder. But in this context, there's something about the power also of our culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my elders, Baba Hannibal Afrique, he used to say the best way to resist an alien culture is to live your own. And my sense of that is not so much a kind of resistance that's reactionary, that centers somebody else's standards, whether of excellence as hashtagged or somebody else's ideas of what somebody's ancestors' wildest dreams may have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you.
But actually to know yourself and live in that, and to strive for that, and offer the gifts that you came to give to your people. And I think that's something that D'Angelo did through his artistry.
No, I feel you, man. We did, as you may know or may not know, we did an hour yesterday. I was fortunate to have the last. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you saw it. I had the last in-depth conversation with him. We started our show yesterday in the first hour, just reprising some of that conversation I had with him some years ago. And so I am feeling it in the same way that you are. It's a moment. And to your point about Dr. West and his commentary about Dwight McKee and the other persons you mentioned, it's been a tough week in some ways for Black people, losing some major players, as it were, in our culture. And so that's why this reflection 30 years later is so important for me. To just appreciate the journey you've been on since you hit the stage that day. Let me just ask you right quick. I'm watching my time here. How did you end up on stage that day? How did the invitation come to you? How did this moment end up being created for you 30 years ago today?
Well, Dr. Conrad Worrell, Ibaye, one of my great among my elders, he was the chair of the Chicago LOC, and he was also I think his title was like Special Consultant for Field Operations for the Million Man March. He called my father. It was like a Friday night. I was out at a homecoming dance. And we were already going, but he called and he said, Lionel, the minister wants Ayinde to make an appeal to fathers. So that was right then. We were on our way, anyway, but it turned into something different.
Yep. So tell me then about what you delivered that day. How did you prepare that? Just give me the backstory to your presentation that day.
Yeah, well, that was actually so that was a combination. That was something that my father composed partially from his own writing, and partially from a couple of pieces that one of my teachers had written that I had been reciting in the tradition of Marva Collins West Side Preparatory School, where I started elementary school, and oratory was part of that curriculum. And so that was part of our practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's grandmother, this is my name, Miss Booker, one of my classmates' grandmothers, she saw me give a recitation of an excerpt of Dr. King's The Drum Major Instinct.
Sure.
And she asked me to come to her church. And I was like 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, the visiting tradition of Black churches is such that somebody was visiting and said, I want that little boy to come to my church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was, that's part of the story between 3-4 years old and 12 years old.
So you were already on the circuit speaking around Chicago.
Circuit? Yeah. I mean,
Well, certainly inside of churches, and put it that way, inside of churches and other spiritual institutions.
Moved around Chicago.
Yeah.
I moved around other cities, other Black places.
Right.
I was on the Black circuit. You know what I'm saying? I never ate pork, but whatever the vegan chitlin circuit.
That is the joke of the day. All right, I received that, Ayinde. When we come forward, more of our conversation with the then 12-year-old Ayinde Jean-Baptiste, who did his thing at the Million Man March 30 years ago today. You are listening to Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for Black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA, theater as a force for change, voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing, racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County, Committee for the First Amendment, and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
call your senior Medicare patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Africa is my descent, and here I'm far from home. I dwell within the land that's meant, made for many, men, not my own. Yeah.
We are obviously still in our feelings about D'Angelo and will be for some days to come. And you heard Ayinde Jean-Baptiste, the 12-year-old speaker then at the Million Man March 30 years ago, start this conversation with some reflections about D'Angelo. So everybody is still feeling the pain of the loss of D'Angelo this week at the age of 51. And so I asked Ayinde during the break there, I said, Ayinde, what is one of your favorite D'Angelo tracks? He said Africa. Africa, as you know, you D'Angelo fans, is on the Voodoo Project, which you heard D'Angelo and I discussing in that reprised conversation yesterday. What is it about that track right quick, Ayinde, that so resonates with you, that Africa track?
Well, consider this, my shots fired. Any FBA ADOS could get at me if they want to. There's a way that we have become divorced from a global understanding of what Blackness is, and even a seeking and working toward liberation as something that is named as the goal or trajectory of our struggles. Mm-hmm. And so there's power in naming, and there's power in us saying who we are. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons that I named all those people in our first, in the first part of our conversation is, we just did a Eyes on the Prize 3, and I was like fighting the edit in the chair. Mm-hmm. I promise you, I said all those names and more names in the chair, just trying to get each syllable, each 15 seconds, like say the name of somebody who mattered and who was a part of the journey. Yeah. Because like Dr. West reminded us, very few of us who have the opportunity to make a broad impact on our people or on our collective imaginary, like get there or get anywhere on our own. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, Doc says all the time that none of us gets anywhere on our own. Number one, people use this term all the time, Ayinde. He was a self-made this or a self-made that. And I heard Dr. West in a speech one time say, there's no such thing as self-made any human being. There is no self-made. You didn't birth yourself. You didn't burp yourself. You didn't change yourself. We are who we are, he went on to say, because somebody loved us. That's Cornel. That's Westian to the core. You ain't self-made nothing. Everybody needs help. We all need partnership. And we are who we are because somebody loved us. And so I resonate with the point you're making now, Ayinde Jean-Baptiste, quite nicely. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Ayinde, I am curious to ask him what that day, what post that day was like for him. So you get to this podium, the whole world is watching you as a 12-year-old. 30 years have passed since then, but I'm just curious in the immediate aftermath of that massive exposure that day, what that did for him, did for his life, whether or not it was sunny thereafter or slummy thereafter. When you get pushed out that way, all kinds of things happen, some unexpected, obviously. So I'm just anxious to hear what it was like for him the day after his big speech at the Million Man March 30 years ago today. Our remaining moments with Ayinde Jean-Baptiste will be come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Ayinde Jean-Baptiste. In case you just tuned in, he is the 12-year-old speaker at the Million Man March 30 years ago today, who did an amazing job, and we're honored to talk to him 30 years later. Just got about 3 minutes left here, Ayinde. What was your life like the day after?
I still had homework and you know what I'm saying? Like, but I can talk broadly. And
yeah.
Thank you 3 minutes. So, I kept studying.
Right.
I kept going. I started writing. It was hard for me to beat the case, because before then everybody thought that I was going to be a preacher, and from that moment it was hard to shake, but I was a poet the whole time.
Right.
And I think if people are interested, and I would encourage people to check out the speeches from 2000 and 2005 that I wrote, that I was really proud of in the moment, and I think they stand up. And I think people will be surprised about some of the things I was talking about then that we are just getting comfortable talking about now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kept, my father was part of the LOC, so I was doing homework at the meetings, you know what I mean? So my trajectory was toward organizing, not so much toward this kind of, I mean, I'm nice with the mic, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then later on, and last thing I'll wrap here, because I know is that there was a tension that I experienced because of my political commitments. It was very difficult for me to navigate being understood as a curiosity or as an entertainer or as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to navigate through that kind of impeded or slowed down my recognition of myself as an artist. And so that took, from that day, that took about 15 years. And it's been about another 15 years in that part of my life and identity. And I'm good here.
Yeah, no. I feel you. Every journey is different. And that's why I said earlier, I've been at this long enough to know, and I've been through it enough times in my own life, that sometimes that spotlight, that stage, it cuts both ways. It frames you in a way that may not be who you really are. And so being pushed to be a preacher, I got that too as a child. I'm like, nope, that's not what God has for me to do. And Ayinde saying then what he was trying to say now is that I am a poet, and that's what I want to be. I'm an artist, and that's what I want to be. And so I'm glad that he is now living in his truth all these years later. Ayinde, it's so great to hear your voice 30 years later, brother. Thank you for your work and for your witness, and thank you for coming on this program. I deeply appreciate you, man.
Yeah, bro. All right.
Stay strong. Speaking of being a poet, today is Black Poetry Day. And when we come forward at the top of the next hour, we'll talk to the chair of Kent State University Department of Africana Studies, where he's also a professor, Matabu Okanta, about Black Poetry Day. And we'll get into his latest text called A Black Voice in the Wilderness. You are listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. On day 16, House Speaker Mike Johnson says ending the government shutdown is up to Democrats.
And so today marks yet another day of American families feeling the very real personal and economic strain of this reckless decision that our Democrat colleagues keep making. They want the United States government to remain closed, and they seem not to care about the pain that it's causing.
Democrats are still pushing for Obamacare subsidy talks. Habitat for Humanity is building its first home in historically Black Altadena's Eaton Fire burn zone. Black couple Kenneth and Carol Wood, both in their 80s, lost their home and are excited to move into their new house. It's one of 25 homes planned, all designed to match the neighborhood's original style. And Michelle Obama will promote her new fashion book, The Look, through a 6-part podcast series with her brother Craig Robinson. IMO, The Look, launches November 5th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hard Rock Style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have been a dominant team in the postseason without getting much offense from superstar Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani has been in a serious slump in the playoffs. In the Dodgers' last 6 playoff games, Ohtani is 2 for 25 at the plate and has struck out 12 times. Ohtani went through an extensive batting practice session on Wednesday. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said he's keeping Ohtani in the leadoff spot in the batting order. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead against Milwaukee in the National League Championship Series. Game 3 is today at 3 o'clock at Dodger Stadium. The Rams have been in Baltimore all week after beating the Ravens on Sunday. They stayed on the East Coast to prepare for Sunday's game in London against Jacksonville. The Rams have been practicing at Camden Yards, the home stadium for Major League Baseball's Baltimore Orioles. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for Black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts and building patient power. From seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA. Theater as a force for change. Voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left. Building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Committee for the First Amendment and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Come to
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want.
Gotta give us what we need. Hey! I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Help us all. Heaven help the black man if he struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns back away. Heaven help the man who kicks the man who has to crawl.